Every year, billions of onions are harvested, cleaned, sorted, and packed to feed the world. From the dusty fields of California's Central Valley to the high-tech factories that prepare them for kitchens and restaurants, onions go through an incredible journey, filled with engineering, labor, and precision. But how exactly are these humble bulbs grown, harvested at massive scale, and prepared for market? Let's step inside the world of giant onion farms and industrial processing facilities to discover how it's all done. Coming up, the massive harvesters that pull onions from the ground at lightning speed, the drying tunnels that extend their shelf life, and the high-speed sorters that grade thousands of onions per minute. Onions may seem simple, but growing them at industrial scale is anything but. The journey begins in rich, sandy loam soils across major onion-producing regions like California, Idaho, Washington, and Georgia. Each spring, onion farmers plant tiny seeds or young transplants in long, evenly spaced rows across hundreds or even thousands of acres. These fields are managed with advanced GPS systems and satellite data, allowing farmers to monitor moisture, nutrient levels, and growth patterns in real time.
Bit of how we garden and why we garden the way we do. So here we're sitting in some of our onion plants. And you can see we use this black plastic, and we use the plastic to help us with holding in heat to help with the growth, and also our biggest reason for weed control. Because as you can tell, you can only get a few weeds around the onions, so it's super easy for us to just come quickly, pull out any little weeds that are starting to pop up that are going to grow around the veggie. So we just clean them up real quick every couple of days so they're nice and clean. And it helps us conserve our water usage. We use a drip system in the middle, which uses very little to no water, just a little drip system for a few hours a week. And with this, you can see that the onions are starting to push. We've had some rough weather, so you can see it's affecting some of the tops, but other than a bit of the bad weather, we've got some beautiful onions coming out a week away from being ready to harvest our first ones for the season.
As the onions grow, their green stalks stretch upward while the bulbs begin to swell underground. This takes precision irrigation and fertilization. Farmers rely on drip or pivot irrigation systems to deliver water directly to the roots, just enough to encourage growth, but not so much that it risks disease. It takes about 5 to 6 months for onions to fully mature. Once the tops begin to yellow and fall over, it's a sign that the onions are ready for harvest. Harvesting onions on massive farms is a race against time. Using powerful machines called onion windrowers, workers first cut the tops off and loosen the bulbs from the soil. The windrowers lift the onions from the earth and lay them in neat rows, called windrows, across the field. These windrows are left to dry naturally in the sun for several days. This curing process helps the onions form a protective outer skin and reduces moisture, improving shelf life. Once cured, specialized onion harvesters come in. These giant machines scoop up the windrows and use conveyor belts and shaking screens to separate onions from dirt, rocks, and debris. Inside the machine, rubber rollers and air blowers gently clean the onions as they move toward the collection bin. In high-volume operations, these harvesters can process up to 60 tons of onions per hour. From there, the onions are loaded into massive wooden or plastic bins and transported by truck to a nearby packing facility. At the packing house, the onions arrive covered in dirt and with dried roots and skins. The first step is cleaning. The bins are unloaded onto a moving line where onions go through rotating drum washers and air blast stations to remove soil and loose skins. Next, the onions pass through drying tunnels, long chambers with heated, circulated air. These tunnels reduce surface moisture and complete the curing process, which helps extend the onion's shelf life by weeks or even months. Different varieties require different drying times. For example, sweet onions like Vidalia are more delicate and require gentler handling, while storage onions can tolerate more aggressive drying. Once dried, the onions are ready for the next stage, sorting. Sorting billions of onions requires speed, accuracy, and automation. At high-tech packing houses, onions are funneled onto wide conveyor belts and moved into optical sorters. machines that use cameras, sensors, and AI to inspect every onion. The system evaluates size, shape, color, and surface defects. It can even detect internal damage using near-infrared technology. Rejected onions are automatically removed from the line and sent to be processed into dehydrated onion products or animal feed. Meanwhile, good quality onions are sorted by size grades, typically ranging from small, under 2 inches, to colossal, over 4 inches in diameter. Mechanical arms or gravity chutes divert the onions into designated lanes and bins for each size. All of this happens at staggering speed. Some sorters can evaluate up to 50 onions per second. After sorting, onions are packaged according to their final destination. For wholesale and food service clients, onions are packed in 50-pound mesh bags or cartons, ideal for restaurants and institutional kitchens. For retail supermarkets, onions are packed in smaller 3 to 5-pound net bags, often with printed labels and barcodes. Automated bagging machines weigh and drop the onions into bags, seal them, and print batch tracking information on the tags. Each bag passes through a final quality control checkpoint, where workers or cameras inspect for broken skins, mold, or off colors. Once approved, the bags are palletized and shrink-wrapped for shipment. Cold storage facilities keep the onions at low temperatures to prevent sprouting and spoilage during distribution. From farm to table, onions move through a vast global network. Pallets of onions are loaded into refrigerated trucks and shipped to grocery warehouses, restaurants, food processors, and export terminals. Some onions are exported thousands of miles to Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, depending on seasonal availability and market demand. Others are processed into chopped, sliced, or diced formats for prepackaged meals, frozen foods, or fast food chains. And still others are dehydrated and turned into onion powder or flakes, used in soups, sauces, snacks, and seasoning blends. In every case, traceability is critical. Each onion batch is tracked using barcodes and QR codes that trace its origin back to the specific farm field and harvest date. This allows for better food safety, inventory control, and transparency for consumers. Not all onions are created equal. Some farms specialize in growing organic onions without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. These require more manual labor and stricter weed control methods. Others produce specialty varieties like red onions, shallots, pearl onions, and cipollini for gourmet and ethnic markets. These varieties often require different soil types, growing times, and handling methods. Some even have designated growing regions with protected designation of origin status, like Italy's Tropea red onions or France's Roscoff pink onions. To preserve their delicate flavors and textures, specialty onions are usually harvested and packed by hand. Onion processing creates waste from peels, roots, and damaged bulbs, but forward-thinking farms and factories are finding ways to reuse and recycle these byproducts. Onion skins can be turned into natural dyes or compost. Leftover pulp and trimmings are used for bioenergy or livestock feed. Water used in cleaning processes is often filtered and reused. And solar panels, electric machinery, and efficient irrigation are reducing carbon footprints across the industry. Some farms even use predictive AI and robotics to optimize planting schedules and yields, reducing input waste and maximizing output. It's all part of a broader shift towards sustainable agriculture and closed-loop production. From seed to shipment, the journey of an onion is surprisingly complex. It involves global logistics, precision farming, high-tech machinery, and thousands of dedicated workers. The next time you slice into an onion, whether you're making soup, sautéing vegetables, or topping a burger, remember the journey it took to get to your kitchen. Billions of onions, harvested and processed with care and innovation every single year. That's how it's made. Moves through massive harvesting operations and continues inside giant factories where millions of tons of pineapple are processed every year. Today, we're going behind the scenes of pineapple farming and canning production. You'll see how farmers grow this spiky tropical fruit, how machines process it at breathtaking speed, and how technology ensures every can is fresh, safe, and delicious. But before we jump in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss more amazing industrial journeys from farm to factory. Pineapples grow best in warm, tropical climates. Countries like Thailand, the Philippines, Costa Rica, and Indonesia produce millions of tons every year. Imagine endless fields stretching to the horizon, each one covered in rows of spiky green plants. Each pineapple plant takes 18 to 24 months to mature. Farmers carefully prepare the soil with organic matter and irrigation to handle the tropical sun. What's fascinating is that a single pineapple plant produces only one fruit at a time. That means every pineapple you've ever eaten had its own dedicated plant. Farmers use techniques like mulching to keep soil moist and drip irrigation to reduce water waste. Drones and modern sensors are sometimes used to check plant health, ensuring the crop grows evenly. When the pineapples reach peak ripeness, the golden skin and strong aroma are clear indicators. Harvest begins. Harvesting pineapples is tough work. Fields can be hot, and the sharp leaves of the plants make cutting a challenge. Workers wear protective gear and use sharp knives to cut each fruit at the stem. In some large farms, specialized harvesting machines now assist, lifting rows of pineapples onto conveyor belts that feed into large collection trucks. Each truck can hold several tons of fruit and transports them to nearby processing facilities. The timing is critical. Once harvested, pineapples begin losing freshness quickly. That's why farms are usually located close to canning factories. Within just a few hours, the fruit you saw in the field is already being washed and peeled inside the plant. Harvesting pineapples is tough work. Fields can be hot, and the sharp leaves of the plants make cutting a challenge. Workers wear protective gear and use sharp knives to cut each fruit at the stem. Specialized machines fitted with conveyor belts slowly move alongside workers in the fields. As harvesters cut the pineapples, they place them onto the moving belts. The fruit is gently carried upward and loaded into large bins or directly onto waiting trucks. This reduces the need for workers to carry heavy loads over long distances, making the process faster and less exhausting. Each truckload can hold several tons of pineapples. Once full, the trucks head straight to the processing plants, sometimes just a few kilometers away. Timing here is everything. Pineapples are highly perishable fruits. They don't continue ripening once harvested, and their freshness can decline quickly. That's why most factories are strategically built near the farms. The goal is to get the fruit from the field to the processing line within just a few hours. Processing factories are typically located right next to the plantations, sometimes less than 10 kilometers away. This proximity ensures that the fruit, once cut, is in the factory within 4 to 6 hours, preserving its natural sweetness and aroma. As the trucks arrive, the pineapples are unloaded onto receiving belts. Here begins the crucial step of sorting. Not every pineapple is destined for the canning line. Workers and machines work together to examine each fruit's size, ripeness, and appearance. This sorting process is critical for both food safety and product quality. Human inspectors quickly check for defects, while high-tech optical scanners measure size and color with precision. Together, they ensure that only the best fruit makes it to the next stage. Once sorted, the pineapples move along massive conveyor belts toward the washing section, ready to begin their transformation into the canned products that travel around the world. At this stage, sanitation takes center stage. Pineapples arriving from the fields are covered in dust, soil, and sometimes tiny insects. Before they can be processed into canned fruit, they must be thoroughly cleaned. The pineapples roll onto long, stainless steel washing lines where powerful water jets and rotating brushes scrub away dirt and debris. Some facilities use a mild chlorinated rinse to kill bacteria and ensure food safety. By the end of this stage, the pineapples gleam with a fresh golden shine. The preparation stage highlights the harmony of hygiene, precision, and speed. Thousands of pineapples are peeled, trimmed, and cut every single hour, preparing them for their final transformation. This is the heart of pineapple production, the moment when fresh fruit becomes the iconic canned pineapple known worldwide. Prepared slices, chunks, or crushed pineapple flow into automated filling lines. Sterilized cans move along high-speed conveyor belts, and each is carefully filled with the exact weight of fruit. Next, a sweet, clear syrup or natural pineapple juice is poured in to cover the fruit and preserve its flavor. Immediately after filling, the cans are sealed with airtight lids using high-pressure sealing machines. The process must be flawless. Any imperfection can lead to contamination. That's why factories perform continuous quality checks, testing random cans to ensure the seal is perfect. The sealed cans then move into giant retort chambers, where they are heated under pressure to sterilize the contents. This process not only destroys harmful bacteria, but also locks in the fruit's vibrant color and tropical sweetness. From here, the cans are cooled, dried, and labeled. Each label proudly displays the brand, origin, and sometimes even the farm where the pineapples were grown. What's truly impressive is the sheer scale. Some factories can produce tens of thousands of cans every hour, operating almost non-stop during the peak harvest season. This efficiency allows pineapples harvested in the morning to be canned, sealed, and ready for export by evening. With the fruit safely sealed inside its can, the journey is almost complete. The next step is packaging and distribution. Cans are grouped together into cartons or shrink-wrapped packs, stacked onto pallets, and moved by forklifts into massive storage warehouses. These warehouses are designed for efficiency, with towering shelves that can hold millions of cans at once. For farmers and workers, this means that the fruit they harvested in the blazing sun is enjoyed by millions of people worldwide, connecting tropical fields with global dining tables. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look and want to explore more amazing stories about how the world's favorite foods are grown and processed, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. That way, you'll never miss our next deep dive into the fascinating world of food and industry. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Crisp, cool, and refreshing. Cucumbers are one of the most consumed vegetables in the world. From pickles to salads, sushi to skincare, their versatility is unmatched. But have you ever wondered what it takes to grow, harvest, and process the millions of tons of cucumbers that reach your grocery store every year? In this video, we'll take you behind the scenes of incredible cucumber farming, where high-tech agriculture meets age-old practices. From seed to supermarket shelf, from open fields to modern sorting lines, every step is a blend of precision, efficiency, and care. Let's discover how millions of cucumbers are planted, nurtured, hand-picked, washed, sorted, and packed, ready to travel across continents and onto your plate. Cucumber farming begins with one essential element: the seed. Cucumber seeds are carefully selected based on the variety and the purpose, whether for fresh market consumption or industrial pickling. In large commercial farms, planting is done in spring or early summer, depending on the region. The soil must be well-drained, nutrient-rich, and loose, perfect for the cucumber's shallow root system. Farmers often use raised beds covered with black plastic mulch. This not only retains moisture, but also controls weeds and increases soil temperature, speeding up germination. Seedlings are either sown directly into the field or pre-germinated in greenhouses. Spacing is crucial. Cucumbers need air circulation to prevent disease. Each plant is usually spaced 12 to 18 inches apart, with rows 3 to 4 feet wide.